And welcome to the Valley Economic Alliance's Black Business Month series by Onyx, our African American business hub. I'm Sonya Blake, President and CEO of the Valley Economic Alliance. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the third and final session of our three-part series this fall for Black Business Month. So register in the chat. More people will be hopping on soon. You can do some networking and put your contact info there if you'd like to. We're creating a community here of business owners who can share information now and going forward. So for about 30 years, the Alliance has been putting on programs to help our 5-city San Fernando Valley region to build our economy. So our cities are Burbank, Calabasas, Glendale, Los Angeles, and San Fernando. And we are so excited with the work that we are doing, and we encourage you to get involved with us. You can join our email list at thevalley.net and keep abreast of what we're working on. We have programs from time to time, and it'll be really great to stay informed and continue learning and networking. If, by the way, your company is in need of customized one-on-one business assistance, you can email us at help@economicalliance.org. I just popped that in the chat as well for free customized one-on-one business assistance. We are here to help businesses in the Valley grow, and we are available to help you get connected to various types of information and resources. So definitely want to take advantage of that. We're going to keep everyone on mute so that we can cut down on background noise. We are recording this so that you'll be able to rewatch it. We'll be able to share it with folks who aren't able to attend today and continue the learning. So Onyx is one of our 3 affinity groups designed to close the information gap, the capital gap, and the network gap for businesses that have traditionally been underrepresented, such as women, African Americans, and Latinos. So we have a fantastic Facebook group where we post the latest grants and information, and you can connect with other business owners. So definitely want to encourage you to join our Facebook group at Onyx Hub so that you can continually stay abreast of grants for African American owned businesses and other types of resources and programs. So why is this important, right? Why are we here? We estimate there are about 5,000 Black-owned businesses throughout the San Fernando Valley. And statistically, women and minority-owned businesses obtain less capital than average, which hampers growth and ability to expand. It suppresses our local economy as well when any of our businesses are kind of held back and not able to grow to their potential. So one of the goals of the Alliance is to help all of our businesses owned locally to connect with information and resources to gain that competitive advantage, whether it be increasing their revenues through business development opportunities like procurement and contracting or exporting or digital marketing, whatever would have you, whether it's cutting your costs, like taking advantage of subsidized employee programs that the government offers, or rebates on your utilities that utilities company offers, or thirdly, it might be accessing capital. So it could be lender financing, crowdfunding, equity financing, so getting angel investors, and all of those good things. So those are the 3 key topics: increasing revenues, decreasing costs, and accessing capital that our programs are designed to help. So thank you for joining today. I really want to thank HSBC Bank, our sponsor. 3 very special ladies helped us to put together the program: Marie Perdosa, Keisha Buchanan, and Evelyn Escobar. So really want to give them a shout out. And also our partners, Cal State Northridge College of Social and Behavioral Sciences, and the Black Business Association of Los Angeles, as well as the Greater Los Angeles African American Chamber. All great partners doing really incredible work, and we're super excited to be partnering with them. So with that, it's now my distinct pleasure to introduce to you our presenters for today. Actually, before I do that, I do want to give a shout out to our board member and co-chair of our diversity committee, Carmen Bowen, in the house. So
hello, everyone. Thank you, Sonya, so much. And thank you all for joining us today. Once this is over, please share it with others, the recording, because this is going to be really a good piece of information and a tool for Black businesses.
Fantastic, Carmen. Thank you for your leadership and your support. Those great words. All right, so with that, I'd like to introduce our speakers. So first we'll have Roger Roman, who owns Push Consulting. Roger and Push Consulting created the landmark campaign, You Look Like an Entrepreneur campaign for LA Mayor Eric Garcetti a few years back. And he's doing amazing work with the Afro Blacks, his new startup, and hopefully we'll hear some about that. And he's going to share with us a little bit what we need to know help us ramp up quickly, increase revenues through some great digital marketing techniques. And then we're going to hear from Kat Sheppard, you can call her Kat. And Kat is a marketing subject matter expert among all the SCORE mentors whose hands-on workshops are consistently among SCORE's most popular in the nation. So we're putting San Fernando Valley on the national map here with Kat as our speaker. And she's very hands-on and will show you step by step, okay, here's what you do, here's how you do it. So this is going to be a workshop that we're really excited about learning a lot, getting our hands in there and getting some tools and techniques that will really be able to get you started right away. So with that, let's go ahead and start with Roger, who's going to talk to us about email marketing, and then he'll talk about organic and paid social media. Roger, please take it away.
Hello, thank you, Sonya. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here talking with you all. I'm just going to jump right in. As Sonya said, I have a background in marketing. I'm a startup founder. I wear a bunch of different hats, but marketing has always been, the core of my skills and my skill set and my passion. So I'm just going to jump right in, share my screen. Can you guys see that?
Looks good.
Okay. So social media and email marketing, we're all familiar with social media at this point, and email marketing is something that's become crucial for every business, and they all link together, right? So how do they link together? How can we use one to support the other? I'm just going to jump into social media and the purposes and how you use it. I know like I said, we're all familiar with it, and we probably all use it on a personal level, but when it comes to business, things are a little bit different. So first, you have to figure out where your customers are located, right? Every platform is different. Every customer is different. Every business is different. Who is your customer? How do they spend their time online? And then when you gather that information, that's when you build your ideal customer profile, right? So for instance, if you sell clothing, your customer is probably more likely to be on Instagram. They care about fashion. They follow the biggest fashion blogs. And they spend their time shopping for clothing online, right? Those are some things that you can kind of just put together and jot down on a sheet of paper about your customer. And then once you do that, you build this ideal customer profile, right? So a lot of people get caught up on this part, and it doesn't have to be as serious as some people make it. It's really just a hypothetical description. One of the shortcuts I tell a lot of our clients, and I've done in the past, is take your best customer and just make them the profile, right? What do they like? What do they do? Why do they shop with you? And those things. And then from there, you can glean a lot of information about your general audience. But this is just a basic, definition of the ideal customer profile. And this is what it would look like. So this is a very in-depth customer profile. Again, you don't have to go this in-depth early, because what you'll start to do is build out information as you go along and as you build out your social marketing plan. But some of the things, you want to create this bio, like who is this person? What are their goals? What are their challenges? And especially in particular to the service you're providing, right? So if they're, if you sell plumbing supplies and plumbers are your ideal customer, what are the challenges that plumbers are facing when they buy supplies? Are supplies too expensive? Is it hard? Does it take a long time to ship? Like, what are some of those things that they're dealing with in that space? And then, you just build on this as you go. Now I'm going through this stuff really fast, just because, in the essence of time, we're going to stuff a lot into this, but I'm going to save all these slides too. And Sonya will have access to them so she can share them as in the future. So once you figure out that ideal customer profile, you can figure out which platforms make sense for your business, right? There's a ton of them. There's Facebook, Instagram. We're going to go through each one, but you have to figure out which one makes sense for your business. I don't think it's smart for everyone to try to be a master on every platform at one time, because it takes too much time, as you're going to see, and the messages and your content gets jumbled up. So content, to decide which platform you want to use, you have to realize which type of content are you going to produce. Every business is different. If you're a restaurant, you're probably going to post pictures of food. You're going to post pictures of patrons enjoying the food in the restaurant and things like that. So you're going to have a lot of micro content, which is the stuff we see on Instagram, right? And the stuff we see on Twitter. It's one shot, I scroll, I saw the picture, I either like it or I don't, I engage with the video or I don't, and I keep it moving. And then there's macro content. Macro content is more of your long form blogs, your videos, webinars like the one we're in today. Though that's macro content. Now, me personally, and this is different for everyone, but I like to tell clients and people I'm working with, and even in my own businesses, we like to start with macro content, because with a long blog, let's say, top 10 reasons to start a business today, you can pull so much micro content from that, whether it's stats to create an infographic. I'm sorry, my son is, my 2-year-old is crying in the background. My apologies. But you can pull and create a lot of content from that macro content, and make a lot of micro content. I'm sorry again. So macro, again, it's that long form stuff, the video, the audio, the written content. Micro is short form, pictures, tweets, stuff that's really scrollable and really catches people visually and gets them to engage in that space. So, like I said, I think macro has a longer shelf life. That doesn't mean micro content is not, is not important. And I think for certain businesses, you don't want to read about what I'm assuming here, but if you have a fashion company or you're selling apparel, macro content might not be for you, right? Unless you're doing a deep dive into some type of fashion trend. You're going to put a lot of micro content up, a lot of pictures and a lot of things like that. But like I said before, going forward, eventually you're going to start producing more of that macro content, because as you'll see, it's a lot of work to produce content, and the more you can pull from each piece of content, the better you are in the long run. So social media platforms, no two are the same. I think, it's my advice. Again, I'm just one person, but I feel like you should focus over quality over quantity. That means if Facebook and Twitter or Facebook and Instagram are the strong places where your audience is, you should focus on those first before you expand to other platforms. Trying to grow on every platform is a lot of work. And, if you have a full marketing team, it's doable. But for a lot of entrepreneurs and small businesses, it's just not the best path to grow. And then, of course, it takes time and it takes money. So you're going to have to invest in this growth, and it's not going to pay off right away. It's going to take some time to build up before you get a return on that investment. So Facebook, we all know Facebook, there's 2 billion users. It's the biggest social media platform, not necessarily the coolest anymore. A lot of people say, why are you still on Facebook and why are you doing things on Facebook? But in the end, there's still 2 billion people on Facebook. And, pretty much anyone who has a social media platform on the other platforms, they have a Facebook account. And the biggest thing about Facebook, I think every business should have some form of Facebook advertising or some form of Facebook presence, whether it's a page or, a personal page, but everyone's there. You get high earners, you get high educated people, you get, any type of business that you want, you're going to find those people on Facebook as well. So like it's probably the crux or the staple in social media marketing that you should be active on Facebook. Again, and in terms of the type of content, and we'll get into that part a little later, but with Facebook, the unique thing about it, which makes it different from the other platforms, is you can use a mix of micro and macro content. You can link articles, you can link blogs that are long form, you can link videos that are long form. You can also put some of that micro stuff, the pictures, the status updates and things like that. It's followed by Instagram. We all know Instagram, it's visually engaging. It can be a virtual resume for your brand. If your brand, relies on visual images and things like that, you can send people there, they'll see, your brand style, your brand mood, the type of things that your brand represents. It's very popular with teenagers. So if your audience is a younger demographic, that's a place to go. And it's all micro content. Like you're not going to post a blog on Instagram. You're not, short videos, like a minute maybe even be too long for some things. But The one thing I will say, if you're looking for high earners, if you're looking for highly educated people, it's not necessarily the source, again, because it's a younger demographic. So if you're selling something that requires a high ticket price, you know, Instagram might not be for you. It's cheap attention, mindless scrolling. So if you are posting there and you're posting micro content, you want to make sure it's engaging, and you want to make sure it's something that will actually catch people's eye and keep their attention. Then there's LinkedIn. Um, so LinkedIn is a B2B platform. That's where you're going to find your professionals. If you're selling something that a service or a product that's catered towards businesses, you want to find those decision makers, and a lot of them are on LinkedIn. It's not as nearly as big as Instagram or Facebook, but it's very focused, right? You're going to find those professionals, and it's easier to get impressions on LinkedIn because you're not dealing with as much competition. So once you launch your LinkedIn page, you start posting your content, it's easier for that to get shared to more people. Believe it or not, your content on Facebook and Instagram is only going to a very small percentage of your audience, until you start to put some money into the machine. Twitter, again, my favorite platform is Twitter, but that doesn't that doesn't necessarily mean anything in terms of it catering to businesses. I think Twitter is more for thought leadership. It's more for a place where you're having like these engaging conversations as an individual person, as the leader of your business. Short, concise messages. The advertising there is not necessarily as strong as other places, but it's very easy to gain virality on Twitter. If you say something that's interesting or you post something that really get people talking, it's easier for people to share that and for it to spread across the other networks. So yeah, I think Twitter is can be used. It has to be used in the right way, and it's one of those things where you can't necessarily plan out the engagement. It's real time engagement. So if you're trying to position yourself as a thought leader in your industry, I think Twitter is a tool to use. You can also post your business stuff there, and it doesn't hurt to do it. But I wouldn't put a lot of effort into posting that macro and micro content there, just because it's not the right platform for those things. The next is YouTube. So YouTube, in my opinion, for businesses is right there with Facebook, right? It's broad. It's right under Facebook in terms of the audience. There's 2.9 billion people there. The great thing about YouTube is that people are actually coming there to search for content. So if you put, back to the plumber, right? The person who sells plumbing supplies, if you put up a video about the top 10 plumbing, tools or whatever, someone who finds that, they're actually on YouTube to search for that content, and you're not chasing them. They're actually looking for your content. So that's a strong place, to put your long form content, and to reach the people who actually want it, your audience, right? The audience that we talked about before. In addition to that, video is the most preferred content, and we're human beings, and video kind of brings all those things together in terms of reading and being visually engaged, and audio and everything. So it's always the number one place to engage people. It's the number one thing we look for as consumers. And then again, as surprising as it may seem, the YouTube audience consists of high income individuals, high earners. That's over $70,000 a year. And then there's a high percentage of college educated people as well. Again, these are people who are actually seeking out information. So it's a good place to put that long form content. And then Pinterest. So Pinterest is extremely niche compared to the other platforms. The biggest pieces of content, or the biggest businesses that have success on Pinterest, are food businesses, restaurants, food supply, things like that. Fashion, of course, it's huge in terms of that, and home decor. And the reason is it's a visual search engine. Basically, it's a place where you can post images, and they're searchable based on the tag. So again, if you're selling clothing, if you're selling anything that appeals to people visually, and not just clothing, but anything that you can take a picture of and say, this is the product I'm selling, Pinterest is a good place. Now, if you're a service provider, if you fix cars or auto shop or something like that, Pinterest might not be a good platform for you. But if you have something that a product that people are appealed to visually, then it's a good place. And then it's three times more women to men on Pinterest. So if your audience is mainly women or majority women, it's another good place to go. And that audience is, high income, high education as well. So all of these social media platforms really quickly, and we can go in depth and talk about each one for a long time, but all of these social media platforms are used to bring people into your ecosystem, into your sphere of business, right? And every time you post something on these platforms, whether it's a piece of long form content like a blog or video, or it's a short picture or something, micro content, you always want to have a call to action. And when you're starting out and you're just embracing digital marketing, your call to action is always going to be sign up for our list with your email, right? Like, or if you're giving something away, you always want to collect that email, because what you're doing now is you're taking that audience from social media, you're bringing them into your sphere, and you're using email marketing to keep in touch with them, right? So email marketing is how you keep your people engaged. Once you discover who your people are, you find out where they are, you get in front of them, you engage them, and then you bring them into your community or your ecosystem. Now, how do you keep them there? How do you keep them engaged? Email marketing is the best way. Email, like Bitcoin and other things, has been presumed dead numerous times, and it keeps bouncing back, right? Like it's here to stay. No matter how much you send to spam, you're going to get those brands reaching out to you with email, because they understand that that's a one-on-one conversation, so to speak, in this crazy world of social media and digital marketing. So with email, you can share updates about your company, special offers, you can give reminders, like if abandoned cart reminders. Hey, someone was on my site, they put all these things in their cart, and then they left, right? Send them an email. Hey, you still thinking about buying those things, right? It's a way to keep those connections there. And then it's also a way to celebrate your audience and to celebrate holidays with your audience, right? When you have people sign up, you may collect certain information like a birth date or things like that, or something that pertains to your business. It's a way to keep that record and to go back and say, hey, it's your birthday today, happy birthday, or something like that, or Christmas holidays, things like that. So there are a bunch of
Time check, 5 more minutes.
5 minutes. Great. I'm doing well. So there's a lot of email marketing platforms that you can use to grow your list once you start to collect that list. And for the list, again, we didn't get into a lot of details, but for your list, a simple spreadsheet works. These platforms also allow you to keep those customer relations list as well. But every platform is different. People have their preferences. I've worked with all of these platforms actually, and they all have their advantages. I would say starting out, MailChimp is probably the easiest to grasp early on, but they do have limitations once you start to grow. HubSpot is pretty good for larger agencies that have a handle on their marketing. And then Constant Contact, I've seen used mostly by grassroots movements and political campaigns, but they all pretty much do the same thing. They take your list, they segment your list. Once your list starts to grow, you can say, this person likes red dresses, this person likes black dresses, so on and so forth. You can really go in depth on the email marketing. And again, there's a bunch of resources that I'll supply to Sonya, so you guys can follow up and read a little more in depth about it. So how do you do all of these things, right? Really quickly, to really succeed at social media, you have to be a content creator. You have to have a copywriter, community management, strategy, people to analyze how your social media is doing, graphic designers, videographers, so on and so forth. So one hack that I found for small businesses in particular is to outsource those responsibilities, right? Now, this is a very delicate situation, right? Because when you're outsourcing, you're basically trusting someone else with your baby. So you want to make sure you make the right choice. But outsourcing saves you time as an entrepreneur. If you don't have a graphic design background, you don't want to spend a bunch of time playing around with Photoshop or things like that. Now there are platforms that are a little simpler or easier, but again, time is the most valuable thing you have as an entrepreneur, and you want to save that. So I like to tell clients, some of these spaces, if you have holes on your staff, or if you have holes in your team, or if there's skill sets you don't have, you can always Upwork. And I had to make the shameless plug for my startup, AfroBlocks, which is a freelance platform that allows you to hire talent, world-class talent, top-level talent from the continent of Africa. And they can help you with a lot of your digital marketing needs in particular. They can even help you build websites and things like that. And then of course, Upwork, similar model, freelancers across the globe who are highly skilled. And then Fiverr, same thing where you actually, people actually post a job with the set price and you can kind of go through and pick. If I had to choose one of these platforms, I would say AfroBlocks is the best, but I may be a little biased. But yeah, that's that's email marketing. That's the gist of social media and how it connects to email marketing. Now, I understand that this was only a few minutes of conversation, so I'm willing, for everyone on this call, I'm willing to set aside 30 minutes to an hour to actually go through your business, your plan, what you're doing, help you come up with that ICP, and then figure out, which platforms are better for you. Just organize it with Sonya, and she'll send you my way, and I'll give you an hour, and that's free of charge. I want to see more people succeed. So that's my little spiel. I hope it was informative. I hope it was valuable for you guys, and let me know if you have any questions.
Wonderful. Roger, thank you. Thank you for that overview of the different platforms and the particular customers that are ideal for each, and for the great tips on the email marketing too, and for being one of our executives in residence. So Roger, yes, he just will donate his time to connect with folks in our business assistance program. So we are so thankful for that. And I wonder if there are any particular questions for Roger right now that we want to get to. We can take a couple of questions. Just kind of starting off, it was interesting you were talking about the distinction between micro and macro. And I want to make sure I want to make sure everybody really caught that and really understands. So is it right that micro is more like time specific, or like specific photos, specific statistics, or things like that? A point in time, like a fashion shot or a food shot, and then macro content would be more like the long form content that is more evergreen. So it could be a blog or something that's not time specific and it's kind of longer. Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, micro content is pretty much the stuff you see on Instagram, right? Like it's really quick, but the advantage is that it does it will catch a person's eye, right? Like if it's a great food plate, right? Like I see it all the time. Like, wow, that looks amazing. It'll catch your eye and it'll get you, it'll get your attention, but it doesn't have a long-term care. Like you're never going to go back to visit that. Whereas a video or a blog, if it interests me, I might not have enough time to read it now, but maybe I'll put it somewhere where I can go back and check it out later. And then again, the secret added bonus of that macro content, I think this is a superpower that every business should take advantage of. You can take one blog and you can create several pieces of content. You can create, a short video from that blog. You can create a video talking about that blog. You can take the stats or the data that you talk about and put it in a short, like little square image where it's just a list, it's an outline. You can go so far. So I always tell people, lean on your expertise. Macro content is good because it makes your job easier down the line. It's harder to produce initially, but down the line, it makes your job a lot easier.
Fantastic, so helpful. Anyone else who might want to ask a question, go ahead and raise your virtual hand or come off mute or video, and we'll be able to take care of that. And you'll have the whole time to think about that, and we can do a little Q&A at the end. So thank you so much, Roger. Very, very helpful. Appreciate that presentation. Also, we're going to make that available upon request. So that's there for you to think about and see how you're going to move that into action. So now we're going to move to Kat Sheppard. And so now we've talked a little bit about the social media, right? You get people and you gather leads and emails, you start building your email list, you deliver some good quality content. Maybe you get some assistance to help you, and it's not very expensive to find folks on these sites that Roger was talking about, AfroBlocks, Upwork, Fiverr, very expensive to kind of come on your team and help you raise your profile. Now we're going to move more into, okay, so now your website. And so how do you get people to visit your website and get some good visibility on the search engines for your website? And then content building tools. So Kat's going to do a nice tactical demo for us to help us answer those questions. So with that, it's over to you, Kat.
All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. All right, so get ready to document, get ready to get some links and get ready to learn. I like to do what we call some interaction with you also, because I want to make this about you. So if you could tell me the name of your website, that would help me. And if you could put that in the chat window, I will look at that right now because I will tailor this information to you as much as possible. And maybe even use your information to actually use you in a demo. So again, tell me the type of business you're into right now and list your website. So first I'm going to ask a question. Do you have a website? If you could type in yes or no, do you have a website? Go ahead and type that in. I'm going to look to see what we have so I can tailor the conversation a little bit more to what we have here. So if you have a website, you say yes. If you don't, just say no. No biggie. No, 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 yes, yes, yes. And then also what I want you to do is put your website in the link below because that'll help me also with it. Okay, I got a couple of answers here and love it, love it, love it. Okay, good. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we got about half, some yes, some no. We got some people still typing. Good. I'm going to go with this thing. What I'm going to talk about is on-page optimization. I want you to think of your website as a big novel. And every page, we call those web pages or maybe even blog posts. You have probably sometime today, maybe even did a Google search and this list came up. Well, let me share my screen with you. We're going to go right to it, you guys, right to it. Okay, so here we go. I did a Google search for pound cake because I love pound cake. I don't know if you guys like pound cake, but I do, especially a good butter pound cake with some sour cream in it or a butter pound cake with some Philadelphia cream cheese. I'm hungry, but anyway, go ahead, right? So we have pound cake and I did a search. Now you did a search before and you got these search results. This is powerful. Because if you don't wait, even if you don't make your website, I want you to be intelligent enough to talk to the person who's developing your website. Because a lot of times, this is how these websites are. Websites are like this. They're beautiful. And a lot of people say, oh, look at my website. It's beautiful. I'm like, oh my God, your website is so beautiful. And then I clutch my literal pearls. I'm like, it's so cute. But nobody's going to ever see it because it has the wrong words on the screen. Does your website have the right words there? Can Google pick it up? Because what happens is Google crawls your website and says, oh, this is about pound cake. Well, later on when somebody says pound cake, they say, hey, here's the sites with pound cake. But if your website never says pound cake, it doesn't sound off to Google when it crawls like this is pound cake, it'll never be seen. So do you have the right words on your website? How do you build each one of those pages in your website? How do you build those pages? Well, let's talk about it. If you build it or if somebody else build it, I want you to be able to look at your web page and say, it's a little bit right, or, oh, I got a little bit of work to do. So we're going to talk about on-page optimization. That's what you should write down, on-page SEO, on-page optimization, right? Now, look, when I type in pound cake, what happens is it does this. This is what we see, these little snippets. These are called snippets. Don't get caught up in the words like, oh my God, she said snippets. Don't take me too serious. It's this little grouping of information. Now there's three parts to this grouping. It is the URL, like www.gettothepoundcake.com, and it's the title. And you also see some information like this. And sometimes you just see a little bit of information that's kind of typed in here, right? Okay, I'm gonna be very general and talk about three parts, right? The link, the text, and this verbiage right here, right? Now I'm gonna go to my website. I'm gonna start a new page, right? I'll make a very, very simple page just to show you how you optimize your website. And then you should be able to look at your web page and say it's optimized or it's not. So now I'm going to teach you theoretically how to do it, but how to do it. So good, look at this again. I'm going to go back and forth. Here is the title of this website, Pound Cake and Video Recipe to Enjoy Baking. Now I typed in pound cake. So the keyword that was typed in was pound cake. How do you make a page rank for pound cake? So I'm going to copy this here. I'm going to go to the new page I write, and I'm just going to type in the title. And don't be afraid if you don't create websites. I want you to get theoretically what's supposed to happen. I'm going to give you at least 12 tips. Things you can look at, things you can check off, like, is my page optimized for a word? Okay, pound cake. First of all, pound cake should be in the title. Make your title, not only put the title there, but put it at the beginning of the title. page because that's what's going to show up here. This is a title for that website. This is a title for that page, rather. This is the title for the page on their website. They may have 100 pages, but this page right here has been optimized for pound cake. So every one of these have been optimized. Guess what? Does your website have the right title? Was it optimized for a word? A lot of times the websites are real cute, but they're not cut. You with me here? All right, so I'm gonna go here. All right, and then I say sexy up the title. Make it interesting so people click on it. Like, don't you think when you look at these things, you look at it and say, oh, that's interesting, I'll click on it. Is it interesting enough to click on? Make it interesting. Want me to tell you a tip? Yeah, I know you do. I'm not going to wait for the answer. Watch this. I'm going to type in Inland Empire. I'm hit enter. He's like, oh my God, I don't know what to put on these titles. I'm going to go to the magazine. Go to your favorite magazine, do an image search. And look, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you some real quick tips here, right? Here's the title. Best of the Inland Empire 492. 38 great things to do this month. 10 great pound cake recipes, right? The best pound cake recipes. You see how I'm stealing content? You see that? They have been doing this all along, and you'll see 130. They use great all the time, by the way. They in an empire. Okay, exclusive pound cake recipes. I'm just going. You may not use that, but you understand what I'm saying? Great Lakes. Look, they use it on the same page. 8 amazing local. What is that? Making. I can't even. Locals making. Okay, 8. I can't even read that. All right, 8 amazing pound cake recipes. You guys got it? So look at the magazine. So when you stand in the grocery store and you see a magazine, you'll be like, snap. Oh, that was a good title. Oh, that was a good title. I'll use that on my website, right? So look at the content. They pay these people thousands and big organizations. They've been doing this for years. Steal the content and just make it towards yours, right? So again, the first thing you do is you make sure that's an interesting title. Now, even if you don't know how to make a website, you can start outlining this on a piece of paper and hand it off to somebody or say, hey, I want you to work with this, right? Okay, so the first thing is on the page, it has to be in the title. The other thing is when a person makes a website, what usually happens is, now notice here I put pound cake recipe and joy baking on this WordPress website, automatically it put the URL in it. So basically that is going to be theultimateprofessional.com/pound cake recipe video joy of baking. You guys see that? So now you have 2 tips. Where should it be? It should be in the title. Where else should it be? It should be in the URL. Does everybody get me? Put those questions there. If I'm saying something you don't understand, put the question, because I'm a teacher. I love doing this. You're not going to make me mad. Again, so now we know 2 places to check. Is it in the URL? Is the pound cake URL? Is it in the title? Oh, what else can we do? What else can we do? Now, as I'm writing this thing here and I'm creating this, I'm just going to pretend I'm going to actually make this. I would never make it with this program here, but I'm going to do it here. Right. I'm going to say, I'm going to type first 100 words, you should have the keyword, whatever word you use, pound cake. I know, I type pretty fast. I know you're like, oh my God, she types excellent, right? But in the first 100 words, the word pound cake should be used. That's 3 tips. That's 3 tips, right? Title, URL, and within the first 100 words. The other thing is, if you're going to actually place a picture in this, so let's say I'm going to put an image in here. Again, even if you don't know how to create a website, you never use this tool, this is your checklist. All right. Okay. So the other thing is I'm going to take an image, right? And I'm going to go ahead to the media library. I'm going to pick a picture. Boom. I'm going to pick my little cat. Okay, good. Now that I got this cat here, oh, I can't believe it. One second. Okay, good. Right here, when you put pictures, when you place pictures on your website, you should use, I just broke my rule. I just put the picture in there and I didn't put the alt text here. So what should be here? If this page was about pound cake, then it should be like pound cake, not just pound cake though. Because, you know, Google gets on to you after a while, like, okay, she just put pound cake. It should be pound cake, lemon pound cake recipe, or vanilla pound cake recipe. You guys got what I'm saying here? So it should have the keyword pound cake on every image. I was teaching this at the University of Riverside, where I teach the extension. And during this class, a lady had just paid someone to do her website. So she was going through and checking as I was doing it. And she kept going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I had to take a break. Take her outside, said, you got to calm down. because she had just paid and nothing was done. There literally, that person made a little pretty website, but it was doing nothing because it wasn't getting any keyword optimization. So your pictures should be tagged with the alt tag. So the question is, did they tag your pictures with the alt tag text? Because Google looks at your picture, but it really is looking at that alt tag text to say, oh, what is this picture about? So you need to tag it. And you just shouldn't just type pound cake. You should be like lemon pound cake, whatever it is, more details, right? Okay, so that's what you should do. That's a couple of things. Oh, with the images, because that's one more tip. You can use now, pictures on the website. If they're too long to come down, our website takes too long to bring it down. Videos and pictures can slow down the download of the website. And then, us as humans, we're very like, oh my God, I don't want to wait. Okay, so you have to make your pictures a little bit tiny. Here's a tip, tiny PNG will allow you to make your pictures a little bit more smaller so that they could download faster. And it usually does not take away from it. So you just drag your picture up here and it will make it smaller. And then you can use that version of the picture to upload on your picture. Don't put large pictures there because it's going to take too long. People are going to walk away from your download. So make sure that and so here's the next tip. Optimize your images. Optimize your images by making them smaller. You can use a tool like this, and this is a free tool. So why not use tinypng.com? All right, next thing that you can do on your page is the longer your text is, and this is just a tip I'm going to tell you, the longer your text is, the Google looks at it as like, oh, this is legitimate. Okay, and so let me take off my screen share for a second. When you use longer text, like really anywhere from about 15,000 to 2,500 words, it ranks higher. And it says, oh, you're a little bit more legitimate. So use longer text. Doesn't mean everything has to be longer text. I'm not telling you everything, but look at that 1,500 to 2,500 range, and you're taking a little bit more seriously. Another tip is you should use H1 tags. I mean, H1, H2, and H3 tags. What does that mean? You're like, what the heck is she talking about? Blah, 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 blah. Well, let me show you what I'm talking about, okay? By default, let me show you here. Let me go over here past my little guy here. And so I am going to add a heading. So look at here, right here. Okay, now look, I'm gonna give you guys a test. How many headings can I add? How many headings can I add, you guys? How many levels of headings can I use? 6. Sonya, you answered the question. Everybody knew it. Everybody got the 6 levels. Now, by default, let me tell you, this is heading 1. In WordPress and the title is always heading 1. So don't use heading 1 again. It's going to confuse the system. So the page titles are always heading 1. So what does that mean? Well, how do you use heading 2 through 6 then? So what you're going to do is you're going to create a heading, and then this is like an outline. Like, okay, so I'm going to say pound. This is the first section. It's like when you're outlining a paper at school, pound cake recipes. Maybe this first part of my writing is going to be about pound cake recipes. And then I do my fabulous typing. Come on, computer, catch up with me now. You see that? It can't catch up with me. I'm typing so fast, right? Okay, good. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a heading, and then you're going to put text underneath it. Your heading should have your keyword in it. So now let's go look. Google's like, oh, pound cake is in the title. Oh my God. Pound cake is on the picture. Pound cake is the first 100. Pound cake is in the URL. Pound cake is in the heading 2, 3, and 4. Pound cake is in, then it's going to say, oh, this must be about pound cake. Okay, now I want to forewarn you that in the old day, not that long ago, back in the old days, not that long ago, what people used to do is they start pound cake, pound cake, pound cake, pound cake. Like, okay, well, that's how Google's going to play. Let me just put pound cake all over the place and then over optimize with a word. Here's your next tip. Only 1 to 3% of your text can include your keyword. So again, if you have 100 words, you can only use pound cake 1 to 3 times. Do not over optimize, because what happens is this little bear called Panda will come in and just tear you apart. Okay, right? It's I don't like you, and then it'll tell Google I don't like you, and then basically you just don't get shown. Okay, so don't let Panda get you. Stay away from the panties, vicious. Okay, now I'm gonna slow it down. How you guys doing out there? You guys understand this a little bit? So when you're working with this stuff, it doesn't have to be difficult. It's just like I teach at university. I teach my students these tips. They can just go make money, you know, after they learn how to do this. I'm gonna tell you what's wrong with your on-page optimization, okay? Because they can check those things and say, look, hey, this is where I can help you optimize your content. You should be able to have an intelligent conversation with your web designer, or you can understand if this is not being done right. You can ask for things. You know, you can hire somebody and ask them for the right things to do. I want to make sure my pages are optimized. And now, would you guys like me to tell you? Would you like me to tell you how to read the internet and find out what people are asking about your industry? Like, would you like to read the mind of all the people on the internet and find out in your industry what they're talking about? Would you guys like to do that? Yeah. Okay, so let's say I was doing sales training, right? And I did sales training. I could use this tool. It's called keywordtool.io. I'll put it in there. Bam, pow. Okay, I put it in there for you guys. Boom, it's in the chat window. Remember, you can save this chat afterwards. So I'm gonna put some more links in there too. I'm gonna do it before we go. So Sonya, don't let me forget to put those links in there. I put them all in there, all right? All right, so sales training. This is a free tool, you guys. What are people talking about? This is what has been pulled from all the search engines here, or actually from this particular tab, because I'm on YouTube. I could be on, YouTube is the #1 search engine. Google is the #1 search engine. YouTube is the #2 search engine, okay? So now if you wanna know what people are, when they type in sales training, what are the keywords? Okay, so I'm gonna go to keyword suggestions. There's 3 tabs here. So I'm on Google, keyword suggestions, questions, prepositions. Now, how does this help you guys? How does it help you to know that people are, if I was doing sales training programs, sales training courses, what is this telling me, you guys? It's telling me what people are asking. So shouldn't I build my content around this? This tells me what my keywords are. So how can I use this? Build my content around this, the things that apply to me. So if I was doing sales training, I would write one page about sales training courses. I would write another page because this is what people are asking about. So this can give you some idea. But here's something else. Here's something else. You want to write, what questions are they asking in regards to sales training? Is sales training effective? You think I can use that to create content? This is my whole outline. I can take this and make an outline. Now this is that macro content that Roger talked about. Shout out to Roger, because this can help you to create a blog on the website. And this is what people, so now I'm creating social media posts. I'm on TikTok talking about, is sales training effective? I'm on Facebook talking about this. I am this because this is what people are asking. So I know that if I put is sales training effective in the header on the image, I can optimize the page for is sales training effective. And guess what? I know that this is what people are asking. This is what people are interested in. Guess what? It's 45 questions. There's 52 weeks in a year. Answer a question a week. A lot of people, I don't know what to write about. This is what they want to know. Answer ones that are relative to you, because you know what people are talking about. This is a crystal ball to figure out what people are asking in your field. What are people asking in your field? So this is on Google. This is what they're typing in YouTube. And you can actually there's also prepositions here. Now this is keywordtool.io. It's a similar tool called Answer the Public. Boom, pow. I'll put that in the chat window also. Don't forget to save that after actually, and I'm gonna type in sales training, and boom, there's 39 questions. They should be really similar because they're pulling from the same information, right? And in both of these situations, you can download the CSV file. I'll tell you guys a secret. My husband hears me teaching this. He says, why do you teach people this stuff? Like, because I charge, by the way, let me explain something to you, okay? I'm a real teacher. I'm going to teach you how to do it because I love teaching. That's what I do, okay? But I also do this for people. So when I go to a business, I'll actually map this stuff out and say, look, your website has your on-page optimization. I can tell you how you're off on your on-page optimization. We need to tweak these pages, these pages. These pages don't even have any thought as to what keywords they are. And I can tell you what people are asking in the industry. And then I have this little report. And they say, oh, can I have it? I'm like, no, you got to pay me for it. Right? Of course, right? I'm telling you how to do this. You have the tool. You actually have the tools to go in here and look at your business and figure out, okay, what's going on. Now, if you are a dentist and you're working in somebody's mouth, you probably don't have time to do all this, and you're going to do, like Roger said, you're going to hire somebody to do this stuff. I understand that. Sometimes people, I'm not going to mow the lawn. I'm pretty capable of doing it, but I'm not going to do it because I have other things to do. So you may have to figure out something else you have to do, but at least you can have the conversation instead of trusting somebody to do it without having no knowledge whatsoever on what's going on and what's going up in your website. But answer these questions in blog posts and creating your long content and your micro content. You could take a couple of these and make a whole long article. To tap into what Roger said, create a whole, invest in creating some great content. And then if it has 20 valuable points, that's 20 posts that's going right to your website from social media, right? So point number one, did you know, bam, pow, and then point to that blog post. And then next week, boom, did you know, bam, pow, point to that same blog post because it's different points. If it's 20 points, then you have 20 ways to link to that great content and rehash that great content. So yes, do create great content. Gary, are you there? It says that's a, you know, all this whole time I'm like, did he move or is he, you know, because Gary, you like this. So I'm like, is he in deep thought or no, he's not paused.
5 more minutes of comments, okay?
I'm right here.
No, I just thought you did. I just had to say, is he still posing? Okay, there you go. I got you. That was a picture. I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to do that like this. I'm gonna do that too, Gary. I love it. Okay, so you got these tools. You have more than enough with these tools to create at least a year of content. I'm gonna say that again. You have enough here to create a year of content, just answering the questions, creating posts, things like that. I don't know if you guys hear that dog is snoring down there, but it's just like, better wake up. Okay, so it's awesome. You have enough here to look at. Again, some of these things are not going to run, like sales training in Hindi. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do sales training in the Inland Empire, sales training Riverside, sales training wherever my customers are. I will create content based upon that. But again, all of these won't apply. And also here you can actually choose to copy and export this to a CSV file, to your clipboard, or to Excel. Don't be afraid of creating content or being able to create one post on your website just for the experience of it all. And this is a little picture. It shouldn't have never been used this big, but it's only to be used for here. So it's a blurred picture is really used for this section. But you can create content. Oh, I thought I was sharing. I'm sorry, I'm not sharing. Hold on. But don't be afraid to create content. Don't be afraid to create content because it is awesome to at least learn how to do it once so that you can understand what's going on. That doesn't mean you have to do it all the time, but at least you know where you can go by using these tools. You can actually start the process. I am going to stop for questions right now. And I'll be
Fantastic. Wow, that was exciting and really informative. Great content. Love the tools. And we put those in the chat. So thank you so much, Kit and Kat. Yeah, put whatever other tools, this is your reminder, put whatever other links you wanted to put in the chat. And does anyone have any questions for Kat? That was a lot of information, a lot of really good stuff. So we heard about the title of the webpage, and then the caption or the description of our images, putting our keywords there, and then in the headings. And then you were saying something about the headings at different levels. Heading 1 is automatically used for like the page title.
page title, but
try to use all the way down to heading 6. Was that the idea, or just?
Yeah. So what the thing is that the headings 1, 2, and 3 are primary. So when Google scans your website, it's going to say, it's going to look for keywords. Like think of it as a scale. My keyword is in the title. My keyword is on the picture alt text. My keyword is in the first 100 text. My keyword is in headings 1 through 6. My keyword is used inside of my, so it weights the scale. Oh, this must be about compound gate. Imagine using the wrong words everywhere. Then when Google scans your website, it's going to say, oh, well, I don't know what this is about. It's like a lot of people try to figure out why am I not ranking. A lot of people hire a person to go up their website and then they say, do you want SEO? And the person says no. And then if, at the end when their website is pretty, you're like, why isn't my website ranking? Because you didn't optimize the website, right? So it has to have the right words to catch the right attention. And there's a little, and this is just on page. There's more to it. I just gave you some of them because of our time constraints, but at least do those. Those, right?
Very good. Very good to get us started. That's so good. Let me think. There was something else you said that really struck a chord with me. I was trying to think of what that was again. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Okay. I lost
Don't
it.
over optimize 1 to 3%. Do not over optimize yourself.
Oh, yes. On that, is there a tool? That was it, Kat. Thank you. Is there a tool or some kind of warning bell that can go off when you're getting close to your limit?
You can use there's plugins. If you have WordPress, there's a plugin called Yoast that you can use to actually look at your information. But there's a lot of online tools out there, some paid, some free. But if you're doing your own website, then Yoast is one you want to look at.
Yoast, Y-O-S-T?
Yeah, Y-O-A-S-T.
Y-O-A-S-T. Okay. Got it. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And everyone, if you have questions for Kat, let me know. Now I see
My email. Yeah, I put my email address, and also you guys make sure you save this chat. There's 3 little dots at the bottom of your chat window that says save chat. Make sure you save that chat.
A lot of good resources there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, thank you, Kat, and thank you, Roger. Really appreciate all that great information. I feel like we have some great tools now, FREE free, my favorite price. So some good stuff for you to take advantage of and at least get you started and work with your web designer to be able to get your website optimized because you want to rank high in the search engines. Well, so this concludes our Onyx program and our 3-part series, but this doesn't conclude the work. So I put in the chat a link to our intake form. So if you want to connect with Roger, as he said before, or if you want to get any information from us, you can look at that, enroll in our business assistance program, which is totally free also. I'm going to put that back in the chat again. And that's where our business advisor gets to connect you with, if it's access to capital or if it's a marketing executive in residence like Roger or Kat or something like that, then you let us know and we can kind of connect the dots for you. We are going to have a Valley Capital Conference. So if access to capital is an issue for you and you're really interested in learning more about what capital is available, what loan programs might you qualify for, then come on September 1st, next Wednesday, to our Valley Capital Conference. Our goal is to get as many local businesses the capital they need as possible. And this is one way that we can do that. And in fact, the valley.net/events is where you can learn about all of our events. So go ahead and hop on our email list by going to our homepage and scrolling to the bottom and going ahead and signing up, or you can check back on the events page at your convenience. And then finally, I did want to let you know that we have our Diversity Business Huddle coming up on September 8th. I put a flyer in the chat. You can also get there from our events page. And that's where we're going to be talking about grants. So we're going to get together. We're going to talk about grants for nonprofits, grants for for-profits, and what does it take to apply for grants, and how do you make a competitive grant application. So we're partnering with Black in the Valley, the Facebook group, on that. And they asked the question. And so we brought together, we're going to do in our open office hours, we're going to just do a little Q&A on that. So with that, y'all, that concludes our program. We're so thrilled that you decided to join us today. And some of you came for all 3 in the series. We want to keep this dialogue going. Join the Facebook group to keep in touch and to keep abreast of what we're working on. We have lots of ways to connect with you, and we're really excited about it. All right, everyone. Well, with that, I say adieu. I will hang on for a couple of minutes for anyone who wants to just come off mute, ask a couple of questions, but we're going to end the recording now and say so long and go ahead and have a beautiful day. Thanks, Roger. Thanks, Kat. Thanks, everyone, for coming.
Amazing job, Kat. Bye, Sonya. Got to jump to another meeting.
All right, we'll see you on the
Great to see you.
1st.
Yes, look forward to it.
Thank you, Sonya.
Awesome, Bernine. Thank you for helping getting the word out. Great to see you, Jaquil.
Yeah, thanks. It was great. I'll see if I can get the second recording because I think I attended the first one. This is the third one. I didn't get the second one, or I wasn't able to attend.
Oh, okay, sure. So Erica will be able to get the recording. Erica, would you pause the recording now, please, on this one? And then how do people